Hey, everybody out there. So, there is an article, and it's in Salon, and it speaks of the possibility of the United States using mass surveillance and how bad it is for everybody, and not just with the current administration. And it speaks on stuff that I've spoken about before, and maybe people know about or not, that it becomes a real difficult time when we aren't wary of who watches us. With all the technology that they have for drone surveillance for the police, let alone the military, it's pretty astounding. It was pretty good when I was getting out in '06, and it's been quite a few years since that, and I'm pretty sure they've improved upon it greatly. So it's a bad aspect when we have to have drone surveillance instead of actual police officers surveilling us. I mean, we have it right now at our intersections. So an intersection can take a picture of your license plate. The police don't even have to be there. They issue a ticket in the mail, and then you're supposed to pay it, because if you don't, then there's a whole hoopla of it, and you can always go to court and try to fight it, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose. And it's literally having mass surveillance with no police there. We are meant to police ourselves with the fear of police being around us. And that's a big problem. That police officers are supposed to work for us. We're not supposed to fear our police officers. When you go to a lot of other countries, people don't fear their police officers for a multitude of reasons. That's not the way it is here. Here we're taught and trained for everybody that police officers are to be feared. More so than when you see actual military troops, which is pretty crazy. It's part of the surveillance state that they push on us, and it happens more and more. And in that surveillance state, it's strange that, so this video might go a little down a couple rabbit holes for people, that whether it's the TP, Trump-Pence, that gets reelected, or BH, Biden-Harris, that gets elected, either of them are going to massively push the surveillance state on whoever they deem necessary to use that. And that's going to be a lot of citizens, because the majority of us want to be left alone, and we don't fit into some little ideal box where, well, yes, this is me on the left, yes, this is me on the right, boo, 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 get rid of the other side. That's always bad. You want to have a discussion. You want to have a conversation, because that's actually the only way forward. Without any discussion or conversation, we're all still left in the way before times, the Dark Ages, and even before that. And it's actually kind of strange that recently the United States took it upon itself to invest into a British company and invest into Cobalt, a company in Britain that is looking into cobalt around the world. And with that, whether you're familiar or not, that's how most of your electronics devices are made, and what they use in it is cobalt. And the place where it's mined the most is in the Congo, which, if you're not familiar, that's in the continent of Africa. And we, as a country, have started to ramp up some of our military actions, just like China has, in Africa. Not as much as China has been. We like to be behind the scenes. They definitely are more for, we're just going to build a military base there, and here you go. We're going to quasi-help you. And it's really strange that if you do look at a world map, with, I think truly, no matter which group gets elected or re-elected, in my mind, we are most likely to go to war with either Syria, because the Trump administration has started to increase troops in Syria. If you don't believe me, check it out. Literally, there are, and they're getting into minor scuffles with Russian forces. So we might be going to place there to help it and stabilize it in Syria. Or I actually believe the more likelihood of a chance, if either the TP or BH, they would most likely go for Libya. And why go for Libya? Well, we did an amazing job of destabilizing Libya, and right now there are 3 different factions in charge. And it is a very, very, very wealthy oil nation. And it's right next to the ocean. There you don't have to ship it very far. You can literally use the sea to ship it to get exactly where you need to go. And it does help a lot. And I will link to an interactive map so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But Libya would be a prime place for the way that the United States likes to do a lot of its military gains. And for a lot of people, they may say, no, we would never do that, or that's too far off. You have to quit thinking of our government and other governments as looking in its citizens' best interests. Governments only look at their own best interest, whether it's looking for goods, services, and the like, and how to best rule its citizens to keep them under their own thumb. And that's part of it. That if we want to become more oil producing, and I know that everybody in this country, not everybody, there's a large group of people that definitely want to go with a Green New Deal-esque, less fossil fuels, but let's be frank and realistic, technology isn't anywhere close to that. Nowhere near it. It's not. We can't. We could not get rid of all oil. It just isn't possible. The technology for it isn't there. I wish it was, but it isn't. That is an infactual lie that people say all the time. Oh, we totally have it with wind and solar and hydro that's just as detrimental as fracking is to an environment. And if you don't think so, look at a lot of places when they do that. It changes landscapes. I live in Arizona. You can see the fact that the dams of the areas change habitat. In Egypt, before they dammed up the Nile, a lot of other places used to flood. They don't anymore. It changes the entire habitat. Not just a small area, a large swath of area. Hoover Dam. You can look around that, see all the rivers that it choked out so that we can get hydroelectrical power. It's not good for the environment by any way, shape, or form. That's blatantly a lie. There are definitely pros and cons to all of it, but as this nation keeps growing and not wanting to not keep continuing to consume every single thing in its path, we're all nations are like Pac-Man. We keep on going for that next little power pellet. Every single one of us. But the easiest way to get that production is with fossil fuels, is with oil. Well, Libya is extremely rich in it. And maybe a little rabbit hole for some people, but I think that was why the Obama administration did push to take out Libya. So that way they wanted Mrs. Clinton to come in, and then we would have gone from destroying Libya to, hey, we're going to come into Libya and help prop you up. And if you look at the map, it also gives us better strategic region if you're in Libya for a lot of the rest of Africa, because that's in North Africa. And then you can go and look around the other places in Africa where there's a huge amount of rich mineral resources. So that's also with Afghanistan. I know, there's the trillions of dollars that are in natural resources in Afghanistan is immense as well. So when, as a country, you need to make sure of who you can and can't trust of your citizens, you use surveillance. The new surveillance systems that they're using with drones, and how they can tap into everybody's phones with the Patriot Act and check your emails and check your cell phone records. And they say, no, we don't ever do that. But come on. They showed through WikiLeaks and Mr. Snowden that yes, they do. They don't care about who we are. So it's kind of a bit of a scary thing. And then also another point of that is we have an unfortunate happenstance with the Speaker of the House, Miss Pelosi, trying to create a panel of individuals that her and the other heads of the Senate and heads of the Senate and Congress get to choose on a board who can be fit to be president. That's a bad thing, because that's even less power for the people in far as vote. It takes away even more of our ability to vote. Even more. I mean, we barely get a say in it as it is now. If you've noticed, you get more of a say in your local elections than you do in anywhere else. But the more that they can put stopgaps, so that way, no matter what, only those that they want get into power. So in other words, those that are going to push more of the military-industrial complex, push more of what the financial sector wants, and we're all screwed more. And it hurts all of us and the rest of the world. But right now I'm more worried about our country than the rest of the world. And I know that's a bit selfish, but I'm here in the United States. So, again, this video went on a little bit longer than I normally like to put videos out, but it's a very big problem that we're having, that we only want to look at such a short term in front of us, so close that we're not willing to see the forest through the trees, per se. That when we have all of these little signals and signs setting up in front of us, we're saying, nah, we don't have anything to worry about that. With the effect of the coronavirus throughout the country, we're watching states try to open up and they're not allowed to, and then we're watching states open up and then other people are trying to shut them down. It's going into states' rights, and all of this is it's boiling it up to a point where there could be unfortunate conflict, which I'm all for discussion instead of conflict. But again, this is just what I'm seeing. Maybe you out there that are watching this, you see something differently. Feel free to comment about it. Again, just think about, before you comment and what you say, how would that make you feel? Would you appreciate if you're gonna say some offhanded colored remark or not? Anyways, again, this is me using my voice. Remember to use yours, and don't be a mushroom. Much love to everybody out there. You guys take care.